The first few months of Adaeze and Chike's marriage were peaceful. Chike adored her. He cooked sometimes, surprised her with gifts, and always told her how lucky he was to have her. Their home in Lekki was a dream, spacious, neat, filled with laughter. Neighbors admired them and called them the perfect couple. But inside Adaeze, an invisible fire still burned. She tried to be the gentle wife she thought Chike deserved, but every small misunderstanding triggered old memories. If Chike raised his voice even slightly, her mind would flash back to her father shouting. Her heart would pound, her body tense, and before she realized it, she'd lash out. It started small. One morning, Chike forgot to buy bread on his way back from work. When he mentioned it casually, Adaeze's eyes flared. "Didn't I tell you yesterday that I needed bread?" she snapped. Chike smiled gently. "I'm sorry, my love. I was rushing. I'll get it tomorrow." But Adaeze's voice grew louder. "You think I'm your maid, Abi? You don't listen. That's how it starts. First you forget, then you start disrespecting me." Chike stepped closer, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Ada, calm down. It's not that serious." The touch set her off. She slapped his hand away. "Don't touch me." Chike froze, shocked. Then, before he could speak again, her palm struck his cheek hard. The sound echoed through the living room. Adaeze's breath came fast. She waited for him to hit her back like her father used to hit her mother. Her heart raced, ready for the fight. But Chike didn't move. He just stood there, rubbing his cheek, looking at her with eyes full of sorrow, not anger. "Adaeze," he said softly, "I love you, but please don't do that again." Adaeze's chest tightened. She wanted to shout, to defend herself, but instead, she stormed into the bedroom and slammed the door. Later that night, Chike came to her quietly. He sat on the edge of the bed, his voice calm. "You don't have to fight me, Adaeze. I'm not your enemy." Tears stung her eyes, but pride held them back. "Just don't ever raise your hand on me," she warned. He smiled sadly. "I never will. I promise to protect you, not hurt you." Adaeze turned away. Deep inside, she hated how gentle he was. His kindness made her uneasy. It reminded her of how fragile peace could be before violence erupted. Days turned into weeks. Each small argument ended the same way, with Adaeze shouting, throwing things, or pushing him. And each time, Chike would take it silently. He still cooked for her, still told her she was beautiful, still came home early just to be near her. But behind his smile, something inside him was breaking. One evening, after a hot argument about a phone call he received from a female client, Adaeze shoved him so hard he almost fell. He caught his balance, looked at her sadly and said, "What are you fighting, Adaeze? Me or your past?" His words pierced through her like a blade. For a moment, she was speechless. Then, anger swallowed her again. "Don't talk to me like you know me," she shouted. Chike nodded quietly, walked to the door and said, "I don't know you yet, but I still love you." Then he left the house. Adaeze stood there trembling, her fists clenched, her heart racing. An hour later, Chike returned home. He placed a small gift box on the table and said gently, "I got you the bread." Adaeze stared at him, tears filling her eyes, but instead of thanking him, she whispered coldly, "Don't ever raise your hand or I'll kill you." The argument started small, 2 words that ballooned into a storm. It was late. Rain ticked against the windows of their Lekki home. Adaeze came back from a meeting upset. Chike had been home all evening, preparing dinner. He smiled when she walked in, but she saw everything as a test. Her chest tightened. Anger rose like smoke. "Where were you?" she snapped as soon as the door clicked shut. Chike put down the frying pan slowly. "I was at home, love." "Why?" "You always say that." She cut him off. "You lie, and then you expect me to be calm. I will not be quiet." Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with a strange, burning power. Chike reached for her hand in peace. "Adia, come and sit. We can talk." That touch made something split inside her. She pulled away. "Don't touch me," she warned. He tried again, softer. "Please, Adaeze, I don't want us to fight." Her face went hard. She grabbed a vase from the table, one Chike had bought her the week they moved in. The vase was heavy, carved with blue patterns. Her fingers closed around it like a weapon. She thought, "If I strike first, he will never strike me. I will not suffer the way Mama did." Chike saw the vase and froze. "Adia." Her hand swung. Glass met skin. The vase shattered on his head. He staggered, blood spreading through his hair like oil on water. Adaeze felt nothing and everything at once. Shock, fear, a cold satisfaction that she had acted before being acted upon. Chike collapsed to the floor. The room smelled of iron. He tried to stand but slipped, hitting his temple against the coffee table. He lay very still. For a second, the house held its breath. Adaeze dropped the broken pieces. Her hands shook. She knelt, calling his name like a child who had lost a toy. "Chike, Chike, wake up." He did not move. She ran out into the street, shouting for help. Neighbors came, faces pale in the rain. Someone called an ambulance. Someone wrapped Chike's head with a towel. Adaeze kept repeating, "I didn't mean to, I didn't mean to." But the words sounded hollow, as if said by someone else. At the hospital, the bright lights were cruel. Nurses moved fast. A doctor caught her away from the stretcher and ordered tests. Adaeze sat on a lonely chair, watching the doors swing like a trap. Her hands were red with blood, his and hers, and she could not tell which was worse. A nurse led her into a small room. "You need to tell us what happened," the nurse said gently. Adaeze tried to tell the truth, but it came out broken. "We argued. I hit him with a vase. He fell. I think he hit his head. Please tell me he's okay." The nurse looked at her with tired eyes. "He's in surgery now. We'll do all we can." Time narrowed. Minutes stretched like ropes. The surgeon came out and wiped his face with a towel. Adaeze stood up so fast she felt dizzy. "How is he?" she asked. The surgeon's face was grave. "He has a severe head injury. We are stabilizing him, but there was heavy bleeding inside the skull. He's had a long delay before we reach the hospital. I cannot promise anything." The words were a stone in her stomach. She sank to the floor. Outside, the rain slowed. Adaeze's phone rang, her mother's number. She answered with a voice that did not sound like her own. "Mama?" Her mother's voice came through, small and sharp. "Adaeze, what happened? Is Chike?" Adaeze could not speak. She only heard the distant beeps from the ward, the surgeon's footsteps, and inside her, the echo of the past hitting the present. The surgeon stepped out again, his face pale in the hallway light. He looked straight at Adaeze and said quietly, "He might not survive tonight."